It was a cold, misty morning in the city of Oxford. The imposing architecture of Oxford University seemed to mock the three undergraduates, Lisa, Graham and Dave, as they sat in a corner of Radcliffe Square, heads bowed in defeat. They had just received their final exam results, and none of them had passed. Lisa clutched her phone, Graham stared blankly at the ground, and Dave rubbed his temples in frustration. Failure. The word echoed in their minds like a bitter song. It wasn't just the sting of failing a class, it was the shame of feeling like they didn't belong at one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Lisa, a brilliant girl from London, had always been the top student back home. She never imagined she would struggle this much in college. Graham, the son of a professor, carried the heavy weight of his family's academic legacy. Dave, who had worked 2 jobs to support his studies, feared that this setback would mark the end of his education.
We failed. What if we're just not cut out for this?
Graham's lips tightened.
It feels like the world is crashing down.
Lisa wiped away a tear that had escaped her control.
I don't know how we'll recover from this.
But deep down, none of them wanted to quit. Something inside each of them resisted the idea of giving up. They had worked too hard to get here.
I don't know about you two, but I can't let this be the end of my story.
Her words hung in the air like a challenge. Graham looked up, his blue eyes searching for hope.
Maybe it's not about how hard we fall, but how we rise after.
Dave, always pragmatic, sighed but nodded.
If we're going to rise, we need a plan.
Year 1. Learning to fight back. They decided to start fresh. First, they confronted the painful truth that their study methods weren't working. Lisa realized that cramming the night before exams, as she had in high school, was no longer effective. Graham struggled with time management, constantly overwhelmed by the mountain of assignments. Dave realized he was juggling too much: work, studies, and the constant pressure to prove himself. Instead of retreating into their rooms, they met every night at a small cafe near campus. They developed a system to hold each other accountable. Group study sessions, shared notes, and a weekly check-in where they discussed their progress and struggles. For the first time, they asked for help. Tutors, professors, and classmates became valuable resources. Lisa found a mentor in a senior student who had also struggled early in her academic career. Graham, with his deep interest in philosophy, started attending office hours religiously, seeking clarity and direction. Dave worked out a new schedule, reducing his hours at work and focusing more on his coursework. Their initial efforts didn't yield immediate success. The next set of exams came, and while they did better than the first time, none of them earned top marks. But this time, instead of feeling crushed, they felt something different, a sense of growth.
We're improving. We're not where we want to be yet, but we're not where we were.
And that realization sparked something new: hope. Other times, the weight of expectations, pressure, and self-doubt threatened to pull them back into despair. Some weeks they felt invincible, acing assignments, nailing their projects. Their second year was marked by both progress and frustration. Year 2, the setbacks and the drive.
It's like I'm taking 2 steps forward, then 1 step back.
But in these moments of crisis, they found strength in each other. This financial strain weighed heavily on his mind, leaving him distracted and anxious. Dave, meanwhile, had a health scare, which forced him to take time off from his part-time job. Graham faced his own challenges, failing to keep up with the heavy demands of philosophy coursework while dealing with the mounting pressure from his family. Lisa, while tackling a grueling research paper, failed a key exam in a core subject. She was devastated.
Come on, Graham, let's go for an early morning run. We need balance.
On more than one occasion, Lisa dragged Graham out of bed for an early morning run, reminding him of the importance of balance.
Hey guys, let's have a study session. We need some structure.
Dave, despite his own struggles, organized study sessions for the group, providing structure when they needed it most.
We keep moving. We didn't come this far to give up.
Graham, the most thoughtful of the trio, often offered words of encouragement when one of them hit a low point.
We keep moving. We didn't come this far to give up.
Year 3. Breaking through. By their third year, something had shifted. Persistence had reshaped their character. They had developed a resilience they didn't know they had. Their setbacks had taught them that the path to success wasn't linear, but filled with twists, turns, and hurdles that only made them stronger. Lisa, who had nearly given up on her dream of becoming a researcher, found a renewed passion in her work. She started a research project on renewable energy that garnered attention from her professors.
You're onto something big.
And for the first time in years, Lisa believed it. Graham, who had struggled with his family's expectations, made peace with the fact that his path was his own. He discovered a love for teaching, becoming a tutor for first-year students who reminded him of his younger self, full of potential but unsure of how to channel it. Dave, who had always feared that his financial limitations would hold him back, landed a prestigious scholarship. His determination had paid off, and he was able to focus entirely on his studies, ultimately earning one of the top marks in his course. The final triumph. Graduation day at Oxford was a celebration unlike any other. As they stood together, their black gowns flowing in the summer breeze, they couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come. The failures that had once seemed insurmountable now felt like distant memories, replaced by the pride of what they had achieved.
Who would have thought we'd make it here?
We didn't just make it, we thrived.
Graham smiled, content in the knowledge that they had faced their demons and emerged stronger.
It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up.
As they threw their caps into the air, surrounded by the cheers of their classmates, they knew that this was only the beginning. The power of persistence had transformed them, turning failure into fuel for their success. And with that, they were ready to take on the world. This story highlights the power of persistence in overcoming challenges and achieving success. Lisa, Graham, and Dave faced repeated failures, doubts, and setbacks, but they refused to give up. Instead, they worked hard, learned from their mistakes, supported each other, and slowly improved. The story highlights that success is not about never failing, it's about having the resilience to keep going, adapt, and grow stronger from each obstacle. Persistence transforms failures into stepping stones towards success. Thank you for listening.